I'm Torgen Karns. I'm originally from Fairbanks, Alaska in the United States, but right now I study at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon. And right now I'm studying at Waseda as an SB3 student. So I've been studying Japanese actually since high school, but after I got back into college I basically started with level 1 again, so I figured I've been studying for 2.5 years in college, so I should go try out my language skills. It's hard to remember exactly what I thought because when I got here there's a lot of stuff, but I guess it was just very overwhelming, but people generally were very kind. A lot different than Alaska, I can say that. Especially where my house is, like it's very quiet. The only sound you hear other than like the trees going in the wind is maybe like a plane sometimes. But even it's different than Oregon, like the vibe here I think is much more like intense business-like, where Portland is like likes to be weird and kind of kooky. So yeah, I like the change. Has been good. It's been fun to experience something different. It isn't necessarily easy because you get used to one thing, then you have to get used to another thing, and then pretty soon I'll be going back and have to re-get used to everything that I knew before. But it's been good. In some ways it's really convenient because like generally anywhere I want to go I'm like, oh, there's a train, like tomorrow I'm planning to go to Yokohama and I can just get on the train and get there no problem. But other times, like when I'm coming to school and I have to ride a really crowded hot train for like 45 minutes, that can be not so convenient. Kanji is really hard, you know, like it's everywhere, and even though I'm studying it I frequently forget, and so like reading signs can be both frustrating because I'm like, I should know what this means but I don't know, and it's just like a basic thing that at home I'm so used to being able to do without having to think about it. Yeah, for me it's so hard, you know, I've been studying it for quite a while, and I feel like I studied hard, you know, it's not like I was kind of like half-assedly doing it. I really wanted to learn it, and I feel like even with all this studying I'm still far from being fluent, and I'm like, what do I have to do? I think that sometimes like if I make a mistake people are generally kinder about it because they just assume I'm foreign, so they're like, oh well, that's no big deal. One thing that I think is really cool about Japanese culture is I think that although it's changed a lot in the past, it has done an amazingly good job of keeping a lot of its old customs, and like it's prevalent everywhere. I feel like, you know, like everything in Japan is just so Japan to me. For me anyway, I think that people can be a little too conformist. I think there's times when people are maybe a little sexist or homophobic or even a little racist, and it's not even so much that they are those ways, because of course America has all those things as well, but it's just that if you try to bring it up with somebody they'll be like, no, we're not. And I'm like, well, you can't start to fix a problem if you won't even acknowledge that there is one, and so that can be irritating to me. I think what's a big thing that's different is that like the US is very like straightforward. You know, if there's a problem we're gonna like come to you and we're gonna say, here's what I don't like, let's, you know, like figure out what we're gonna do. Whereas in Japan, I think people tend to not address the problem head on and tend to be a little more indirect about it. That's a hard one, but I guess I would say it's like the ideals and customs and like beliefs of a population. I would like to believe that I decide that, but I mean, if I'm being honest, I think my family and the values they've imposed on me really greatly influences what I think is right. My family specifically is really, really important. My father has really influenced me. He's like, the way I think about the world, I think directly comes from him. And both my sisters, they're both older than me, and I feel like they've been big mentors in my life as well. Honestly, like at least a 9. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a 10, because I just feel like my last name's Karns, and I feel like the Karns mentality has like shaped me so much. I think it's a little bit. I imagine a little bit of both. I mean, I imagine it's kind of like clay, in that, you know, like clay starts, it has its own shape to begin with, and it's made of certain things, and that never changes. However, when someone goes in there, they can change the shape. So it's the same structure, but it changes a little bit, and I think that's how our identity is as well. This feels awkward, but I would say, I guess, like honest and genuine. Yeah, I think so. I guess, I mean, of course, it depends on like what state and all that kind of stuff, but generally I think most people are kind, maybe a little headstrong and hardworking. I think Japanese people are actually quite similar. I think they're also very kind. I think a big difference is maybe they're a little more reserved, a little more conformist. Well, I'd like to believe so. However, I think it's going to be a slow process because I think there are lots of people who buy into stereotypes without knowing that they're doing so, and that when you don't know that you're doing it, you can't start to fix it. I hope at least that I will always be kind to other people. I think that's really important, so I hope I hang on to that. That same thing, like if I stop being kind to other people, then I don't really think I'm who I am or who my family would want me to be.